Welcome back to the Immigration Answers Show. My name is Jim Hacking. I'm an immigration lawyer practicing law throughout the United States, out of our offices in St. Louis, Missouri, San Diego, California, and Washington, D.C. I'm joined today by my good friend, Abigail Clark Herrera. Abby, how are you?
I'm doing very good. Intake specialist.
Extraordinaire.
That's all the information I have.
That's awesome.
College
How are you
student.
doing?
I'm doing very good. It's a really nice day. I'm happy.
You have lots of aspects to your life. You tell the viewers what you like to do besides answering lead calls.
Well, that's my favorite part, though. But I love taking pictures. I do some circus things, with the silks and the handstands, and I also take acting lessons. So I'm a bit all over the place.
Did you know that I was in a play in college?
You were in a play in college? What type of play?
It's a Neil Simon
Were
play.
you a
It's
lawyer?
actually no, I wasn't a lawyer. So Neil Simon, I don't know. Have you ever heard of Neil Simon? He's like an old playwright, and he wrote a lot of plays about New York City.
Uh-huh.
He wrote this one play called Plaza Suite, which was it's 3 different acts, and each act it has the same man and woman in it, and they play 3 different stories of something that happens in a hotel room at the Plaza Suite in New York. So like
wow.
I think one of them was a couple breaking up, one of them was somebody having an affair, and then the third. So for us, because we were just college kids, we were only in one act. So I was in the third act, and I was this guy. It was my daughter's wedding day, and she'd locked herself in the bathroom and wouldn't come out to marry her husband. And so I was like, I spent all this money on the wedding. I was like the comedic end to the play. So like,
okay.
I get like a bottle of water dumped or a bucket of water dumped on me, all this craziness. So it was a lot of fun.
I don't know why I imagined it being like a musical and you singing to the daughter who's locked inside of the bathroom.
It wasn't a musical, but that'd be funny. But they're doing Matthew Broderick and Sarah Jessica Parker are doing a revival of it right now on Broadway. So I'm going to try to go see it.
Yes, and you should be like, I did this in college.
I know these lines. Yeah, for sure. Well, I thought we had a good meeting today with the team.
It was a splendid meeting, lots of laughs, lots of recognition and attention. Jim is the best boss to ever have. He's the most considerate one. No, there's no lie in this face.
Thanks, Abby. Thank you. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. You want to? We got a lot of people in the waiting room already. It's hard to believe that the waiting room's almost filled up. You want to?
Yeah, there's a lot of people.
Yeah, and a lot of people are putting in the comments where they're watching from. So we always appreciate that. And Julia's from our communications coordination team. She's in the comments. And Romel did a great job yesterday with Daniel, just keeping up with all the comments. So. If you see messages from Julia, that's she's on our team too, and she's sort of trying to help manage the chat because the show's becoming sort of its own little beast.
Little beast. That.
Right. All right. Well, I'm going to go ahead and start letting people in. Is that okay?
Yeah, I think we're ready for it.
Let's do it. First up, Ranga. Hi, Ranga.
Hi, Ranga.
Hello, hi. I've been following your show for the past few months. Big fan. You actually make it very easy to follow. So I have 2 questions. One is I have a EB1A petition or based green card petition or adjustment of status pending since October, and I've gotten up to the point where they get me a EAD and AP card. Now, what logic are they following in waiving interviews? Like I heard that many are getting waived these days.
Yeah, I don't think there's any logic that you can hang your head on. I think they just do it on a case-by-case basis. If there's something in the 45 that makes them want to talk to you, that does it. I think there's a little bit of randomness to it.
Okay.
And then I think that some people just get lucky. So I don't think there's not like a chart that you can check the prescription and say, oh, I'm definitely not going to have an interview.
Okay. My second question is related to my H1B status. I work for a university, so I am on a cap exempt H1B. And so before I am with my current university, I was at another place where I worked for 1 year on H1B. And then I came to this university in 2016. So then they gave me the first 3-year period. And in 2018, I got a EB2 petition approved. And in 2019, when we renewed the H1B, we got a 3-year extension that expires this August 2022. So when my employers and when my university's legal department, they prepare my H1B renewal, they told me that since you have a EB1A petition going on, USCIS is likely to grant only a 1-year extension and not 3 years. Like, I didn't understand the logic behind that.
Again, Ranga, I'm guessing you're an engineer, right?
Yes.
Yeah. How did I know? The reason I know is because you keep asking for precision from an agency that doesn't know how to do with that.
Okay.
So there is no rhyme or reason to what you're asking. I've seen people clearly deserving of a 3-year extension get a 1-year extension. I've seen people who should probably get a 1-year extension get a 3-year extension. So I don't know what to tell you. They do things in very strange ways, and maybe it's that they're trying to keep from having to re-adjudicate I-129 extensions over and over. Maybe that's why, but I just don't know the answer to your question.
Okay. So, but they won't like deny or anything, right? Like deny the H1B.
Well, has it been approved?
No, we are just preparing to file it this week.
Oh yeah, you should always ask for the full time and just see what they give you, because you can't ever predict the exact amount of time they're going to give you. So asking for the full time is the right way to go.
Okay. Okay. Thank you very much. Big fan. Thank you.
Good luck, Ranga. See you, buddy.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ranga.
Right. Yeah.
Surprises
So
me. The H1B, the H1B applicants.
do you get a lot of those?
I have a hard time understanding them. I admire them for doing all of the research needed.
Well, it's a lot of moving parts, and he's had 2 different green cards applied for him, and he's been on different kinds of H1Bs. So that was not a very a straightforward one. So I can understand how that might sort of throw you for a loop.
Yeah. No, and I think we have Mohammed in the waiting room if he'd like to join.
Yeah, you want to pull him up? There you go.
Oh, no. I pulled up.
Oh, it's
yes.
okay.
Hi, Jim. We had spoken last week as well, if you remember.
I thought it was like 2 days ago.
Yeah, 2-3 days ago.
Go ahead.
Yeah, actually, I have a couple of questions. So my current employer had filed for my H1B, and it has got picked up. And I've got a new offer as well from a different company. So
2, I thought you had 2.
Yeah, 2. Yeah, I have 2-3 offers at the same time. Like my green card through my spouse is also being filed in March, and I've done with my biometrics. And my current status on the USCIS app, it's showing that my case is pending for Form I-485.
Right. This is everything. We already talked about all this stuff. What's new?
I'm asking you that since my H1B has picked up from my current employer, so can I join the new employer on my STEM OPT, which is valid for only 2 months? And once my GCEAD comes, I can switch on my GCEAD.
You're asking, okay.
Yeah. Should I repeat that?
No, I just don't know why you can't sit still. You called me that you're always working some angle. You got 3 different jobs going.
Yeah.
You're always trying to move different parts. Why can't you just sit still and be happy where you're at? Why do you have to make it so complicated?
Okay. So like, should I tell my new employers to hang on and be with my H1B?
That's what we talked about. That's what we talked about 48 hours ago. I mean, I don't understand the mindset of collecting H-1B employers. I mean, did you sign a contract with the employer that sponsored you for the H-1B?
No, there is no contract involved.
Do you think they're going to come after you to get you to pay them for their H-1B fees?
No, I don't think so. They're going to do that.
Why do you think that? I would if I were them. Why wouldn't they?
I mean, because there was no like written consent or anything.
So what? There's a concept in the law called unjust enrichment or quantum merit, that you cost them however much they paid the lawyers. Mm-hmm. They're clearly going to be entitled to that back. So you should not assume that they're not going to come after you for that.
Okay, I get that.
So to me,
mm-hmm.
when you have a great path ahead of you, You've got
Right.
lots and lots. You have lots and lots of options. You just don't want to wait. You
Right.
want to keep moving this part here, that part there. Why give USCIS reasons to mess around with your immigration status? You've got a spouse who's sponsoring you for a green card and a work card. You've got OPT. You've got an H-1B employer who sponsored you. You got selected in the lottery, and you even have 2 on backup.
Yeah.
You're sitting pretty. They listen. If you have 3 employers foaming at the mouth to hire you now,
Mhm.
wait till you get that H-1B. You're gonna or your EAD. You're gonna have all these options. So I'm just
Okay.
encouraging you to just be a little patient and say, "Boy, I'm really in good shape. Let's just wait and see what happens."
Okay. So should I wait for my GCAD, then only I can switch to the employer, right?
That's what I was thinking.
Okay. Okay. So I'll wait for either for my, so you're saying that I should wait for my H1B approval, or I should wait for my GCAD before switching my employer, right? Okay.
Yep.
Okay, I'll keep that in mind. And just one last question. After my biometrics, my status on my USCIS app, it changed to my form is being reviewed for I-485. But for employment, the EAD card is I-765, right? So I had that confusion whether they're working on my EAD card or whether they're working on something else. So can you
Yeah,
let me know?
once you clear the hurdles, which is the completion of biometrics and background check, then they're processing them all together. What happens when you type in the case number for the 765?
It says that USCIS is actively reviewing for my form I-485.
Yeah. So
Adjustment of
when you
status.
yeah, so you're fine. You're just sitting. You're just sitting.
Okay, so will I get my EAD first, or will I directly get my GC interview? Like,
You might
any
get your
idea?
GC without an interview
Oh,
these days
that's also a possibility.
if you filed a strong enough case. Yeah, yeah. So anything's possible, I would say.
Okay, because me and my spouse were in a relationship for 3 years, and we had
Yeah,
put a lot of evidence. So,
yeah. So
okay.
the USCIS says that if it's strong enough, that they're starting to waive interviews for some of those cases.
Oh, so I might receive my GC without the interview. Like, it's a possibility, right? Okay.
A small one, but yeah,
Oh,
but you might also get your green card without ever getting your EAD.
okay. Okay. Hope for the best. Thank you, Jim.
Yep.
Thanks a lot.
Bye, buddy.
Thanks a
All
lot.
right, hang in there.
Thank you.
Yeah, bye.
All right, so I will bring up Mohammed, and I'm
Oh
gonna
yeah.
get my package that just arrived real
Oh,
quick, and I'm
perfect.
gonna leave you.
Muhammad thought you were calling him up last time, and then
Poor
you ditched him.
Mohammed, well, here he is. Hi,
Hi,
Hello,
Mohammed.
Mr.
How are
Jim.
Mohammed.
How
you?
you doing?
Good, good, good.
Hey, thank you all the work you guys doing to help like me and other people's here.
Sure
It's
thing. What can
nice.
I help you with?
So I have a couple of questions today here. Since I talked to you in February, so I have joined U.S. Army. So I'm officially like U.S. Army member. I'm working since March, and I have applied for my N400, and I applied for that last month. And then when I called them about the receipt number, everything, they told me, like, I was asking you, I have to go for my biometrics. They said no, we can use your previous biometric when you give that, like, for your green card in
Sure.
2020. So I don't have to do that. And so I'm just waiting. This, as soon as the background check complete, they're gonna set me up for the interview. So my question to you, my wife, she's on a green card. So when she will be able to apply for her N400?
You're wondering if she can apply early after you get your citizenship. I mean, this is a lot of moving parts. You're asking me to decide something that's sort of far out. I mean, one, we're assuming you're going to get your citizenship fast because you're in the military, but she would need 3 years of being married to you and 3 years of you being a citizen in order for her to apply under the 3-year rule instead of the 5-year.
I see. So the time I become citizen, so she got to wait 3 years since that day.
Yep.
Yeah, that was my
Or,
question.
you can apply 3 months early, so it'd be 2 years and 9 months
Oh, 2 years and 9 months. So
from the
3 months.
start date or from when you got your citizenship. Yep.
Yeah, I think that was the main question. I was just trying to have some idea because I asked the commander in chief, and they said they don't have very much idea about this immigration. So they
Yeah,
only.
so apply under the 3-year rule, you have to have both things satisfied, and you don't have. She doesn't have to have received her green card through you. She could have gotten it through another means. So, if you have your green card for 3 years, and you're married to someone who's a U.S. citizen for 3 years, then you can apply under the 3-year rule. Now, that can sometimes confuse USCIS, but that is indeed the rule.
Okay. So maybe when the time comes up, then I'll contact you. Maybe you can help her out.
Perfect. Thanks, Mohammed. Have a great day.
You too. Thank you.
See you, bud. All right, from one Mohammed to another. What's up, Mohammed?
Okay, hello.
How are
My name is
you?
Muhammad. Okay, I'm actually I'm a PhD student here, and I'm in the beginning of a journey. So actually, I'm F1 student. I am on the F1 student visa, and actually, my wife also on the F2. So my question is, my wife right now she's pregnant, and the hospital offering her, since she doesn't have any employment here in the U.S. They offering her like to have a Medicaid insurance instead of like paying her insurance. So my question is, because I need to apply for a green card after I finish my PhD, and I don't need to do to have a problem if my wife got support from the federal government. So is this affect my application in the future if my wife get a Medicaid insurance since she is pregnant right now, or it doesn't affect at all?
She's on an F2,
She's an F2 year.
and she got that embassy at the visa at the embassy.
Yeah, she got the visa at the embassy.
And when she got that F2 visa at the embassy, she promised that she'd be able to fully support herself in the United States.
No.
Yes. You don't get an
I'm sorry.
F1 or an F. You don't get an F1 or an F2 unless you can demonstrate that you can financially support yourself.
I have as a support from my university, but she didn't like sign any document at the embassy. I mean, here.
Yes, she did. Yes, she did. When she completed the DS-160, that you have to prove to the satisfaction of the officers, if you're coming on a non-immigrant visa like an F2, that you're going to be able to support yourself financially.
Oh, okay. So you
Right?
mean like
So she swore to the federal government that I can go to America and I can support myself, pregnant or not. Right?
Actually, I don't know, but the only DCS60 I presented to the embassy. I don't know if it's mentioned on this DS-160, like I should cover like my wife if she's pregnant or not, but I don't know actually.
Yeah, they won't give you a visa if they think you're not going to be able to support yourself financially. I know that for a fact.
Mm-hmm.
So the two of you swore that she'd be able to financially support herself. And then once she arrives, if she then applies for federal benefits, you're setting yourself up for really big problems.
Oh, okay. So it will affect me in the future if I need to apply for extension of visa, or is like getting a green card?
Both.
And what if, like, for example, like if I paid her insurance, what about the kids? If I get a kid here, also I should also pay also his insurance or their insurance?
Are you talking about the baby or other kids on an F2?
Yeah, the baby. Yeah, the baby. If I got a baby here, I also should pay his insurance.
That's a little closer. I mean, here's the thing. Why give them reasons if you can afford it why give them reasons to give you trouble? My wife, Mohammed, is from Egypt. I became Muslim 25 years ago. Most of my clients are from Muslim countries. Why would someone from a Muslim country want to give USCIS or the State Department reasons to give them trouble? Why?
Yeah, I needed to cover my wife's and even like my kids' insurance. But actually, as you know, like a PhD student doesn't have a lot of stipend. Like I cannot afford.
Not their problem, and that not an argument that's going to win.
Mm-hmm, I see.
And here's the last piece that everyone needs to think about. We have an election coming up in 2 years, which will be about the time that you're sort of done with your F1 studies, and we don't know who's going to be the next president. The last president tried to put in rules that would have almost made it impossible for you to get a green card based on the questions you were asking me, right? So my job always, Mohammed, is to think worst case scenario. Worst case scenario. So worst case scenario is Donald Trump gets reelected. And if anyone thinks that's not going to happen, you need to wake up, because that could happen. So Donald Trump gets back into office. Donald Trump takes back over Homeland Security. Donald Trump figures out ways to make it harder for immigrants again. Oh, let's bring back that public charge rule. Okay. Sorry, Mohammed, no green card for you.
I see. Okay.
right? And we might not even get Trump. We might get somebody worse than Trump, right? Like they might say, "Old Trump didn't go far enough," and America could elect that dude or woman.
Okay.
All right. So this is where I operate, Mohammed. I operate in what's the worst possible outcome. And people might say I'm paranoid, but you only get one shot at your green card. One shot. And we want you to get your green card. We want you to stay here forever, use your PhD, and help America and help yourself.
Okay. Thank you very
All
much.
right. You got it, brother. Good luck.
Thank you, Mohammed.
I think I might be a little crabby today. What does everybody think? I'm trying. Yasher's trying to
I think
Yasher's trying to cheer me up though. Yasher
there's a
is
couple of
he's the king of emojis. No one does
there's a couple of
emojis better
people
than
who want to
Yasher.
see you. They want to see you get
Yeah.
angry.
Yeah, no, I know they're trying to get me worked up. But no, those are all fair questions. Those are all fair questions, but they're operating from the assumption that we're dealing with an agency that treats people fairly, right?
Yeah.
That we're dealing with an agency that treats people fairly, and clearly we don't. Clearly, we're not working with an agency that treats people fairly. So
Yeah. Just the other day, I got a lead who was telling me that in their interview, the officer was really rude to them and made them feel, discriminated essentially. And he's like, I felt so bad. Has this happened before? And the system is just sometimes it's really favorable to some people, and then it just doesn't work. And I was surprised about how many tiny little details they take into consideration. I'm like, oh my gosh, it would be so hard to fill out one of those applications.
Well, so there's an immigration lawyer I follow, and she's Asian American, and she posts great stuff on LinkedIn. I like her because she's sort of fiery like me. And she 2 days ago she posted a story about how she was waiting in the waiting room, and the officer came out, and it was an Asian name, and the officer did it in sort of a sing-songy kind of a rude way, and then the other officers coming out of the door laughed, and like, oh, isn't that guy funny? And then today she posted about how she was in with an officer and she asked to see the supervisor, and they said, no, you can't see the supervisor, which is contrary to the rules. And then the officer accused her of trying to trip the officer. So, I mean, you can get people, everybody has a bad day. I get that, right? I get that people have bad days. Some people just shouldn't be in this role. Like, I remember Monty got really mad when we went to Egypt one time because the people at customs were just plain rude. And you're like, why give that job to somebody? Like, why is that their job? Or why do they stay in that job? Or why do they get promoted?
That's awful. Well, guys, if you're in the waiting room, please remember to show your face so we know that you're there, and we can go ahead and pull you up. I think Peter is here and is wanting to ask some questions, so I'm just going to put him up.
Awesome.
Hey, what's up, Mr. Jim and Abigail?
Hi, Peter.
Hey, Peter.
Okay, so it's kind of complicated, but it's also a hypothetical. So I
I
applied for.
I like complicated hypotheticals. Go for it, Peter. Lay it on me.
I'm here on F1, been on a status, and I still am. But I'm graduating, and I was thinking about transferring over to another university. And I already have an EAD from my marriage-based I-485. So I was wondering, on I-485, it says, have you ever worked without authorization, right?
Yeah.
And I checkmarked yes because I have. So hypothetically, if I were to get denied for my I-485, would I still be able to have F1 even if my F1 was active?
So that's a tricky question because, well, I mean, first of all, so when did you come to the United States?
That was back in 2014.
And you've maintained your F1 all the way through. You haven't had a gap or anything.
Nope.
But on your 45, you admitted that you had worked without permission. And you have an EAD based on your marriage-based green card. You have an EAD for that.
I just got that last week. Yes, I was wondering if
So that's an interesting thing because when you get an EAD, a work authorization through marriage, through your pending green card, and you work, that's a technical violation of your F1, right? So here we have an actual violation of your F1 versus and that if you worked tomorrow on your new AED, that'd be a technical violation of your F1. So things become a whole lot shakier if your green card case goes away, if it gets withdrawn, if it gets denied, if whatever. So yeah, you're sort of setting yourself up for problems. Now, in theory, you could probably just keep going along on your F1 and maybe get OPT later and maybe even apply for an H-1B. But when the time comes for a green card, this might come back to bite you. And one of the things that I would want to check if I were your lawyer, because I don't know the answer to this question, but in the old days, historically, for immigration purposes, if you worked without authorization, you weren't considered out of status until a judge declared you out of status. But Jeff Sessions and Trump put in this rule in like August of like 2017, I think, that said that now if you work without permission or if you violate the terms of your visa, you're out of status all that time. Right. And I don't know. I should know this, and I'll research it. I don't know if the Biden administration undid that rule or not. I haven't seen anything that said it, but I might have missed it. So there are a lot of bad things that happen if your green card case goes away.
I mean, yeah, I remember about that. And the DHS had a public comments. They have a period of public comments, but it did not go through. It didn't become effective.
Oh, that did. So, no, that got affected. That came into effect.
But then I think it was overturned by either a federal judge or.
Oh, you might be right. You might be right. That might be why I didn't hear anything. You might be right. I'll check, Peter. Because I always found that rule sort of interesting, so it wouldn't be a hard thing for me to check. I'll put that on my notes, and I'll say something tomorrow on tomorrow's show.
Sure. So, but I mean, as I was being hypothetical, do you think should I continue with my F1? Or should I just go ahead and use my EAD? What do you think?
Well, I mean, you've been in F1 status for a while. Of course, it's always going to be better if you go to the interview still maintaining your F1, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's still better because to me that demonstrates that, look, dude, I don't need to marry this person. This marriage, it's real, but I didn't do it to get a green card. I was on my own damn path to get a green card through employment. So this, to me, maintaining your F1 status helps demonstrate that your marriage is more legitimate than if not, if that makes sense. This is just a pure gym rule. This isn't like in a book or something. This is just what I think.
Yeah, I agree. Well, I mean, that is all I had. Thank you for your answer.
Good luck. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Peter.
See you, buddy.
I like the gym rule. Fact.
made up gym rules.
We should make a book of gym rules.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so we still have a lot of people in the waiting room.
That's great.
Rommel joined us, communications coordinator as well.
It's great.
Yeah, he came for support because apparently the chat is wild today.
Oh, and look at this. Maurice is reporting live. Andrew just went to an interview up in Milwaukee. And Maurice had it with Andrew. So I guess Andrew's on his way back to home, and Maurice is chiming in. I hope the interview went well, Maurice. Rocio saying hi, as always. Rocio's looking for one of the drama stories. It's all good. We don't need drama every time. Hopefully Perry's got life figured out. Hopefully Perry's
I don't have drama, that's for sure. This visa is causing me some drama. I should say that.
I'm sorry.
Hello, Jim and Abigail. How y'all doing?
Hi,
Good.
Good. Okay, so we spoke a few months ago. Since we last spoke, I've gone back to the U.S. and I've gotten a job. So I guess I have 3 questions here, and they're a little bit all over the place. So stick with me, please. Do I have to update my new employment status in the documents? Because we have a 9130. Excuse me. It's been pending for a year now. And I just had a conversation with Daniel.
You were overseas with the spouse, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
And now I'm in the U.S. I have a job. I have a contract. And I'm just wondering, is it worth uploading this document along with the other?
Are you still at USCIS or are you at the National Visa Center?
I'm still at USCIS, which is also a problem.
Yeah, it is. No, you don't need to worry about that. The employment stuff really becomes important at the next stage. So the fact that you have employment now and a contract, all that stuff is good, but that's for the next stage. No, USCIS doesn't even need to know about that.
Right. Because I remember you saying, I asked you a question about whether they would inquire about whether the employment abroad would carry over, and that wouldn't be something that come up until the NVC process. And
yeah.
Okay, so that was the first question. The address in Europe that we've been residing in is going to change. So the initial address we used abroad is going to change in mid-July because we're no longer going to live there.
Same
the plan was,
country?
Well, yeah, they'll be in the same country until the visa is issued. So, yeah, I'm just wondering.
Yeah, so that's fine. I mean, again, NVC is sort of like a reset. NVC is sort of like, we've done all this shit on paper. Now we're going to do it electronically with a totally different agency. So your timing is actually pretty good for both of these things, both for having your spouse move and for you getting a new job. So all that stuff sort of happens next.
Okay. And I guess it's more of a general question. Is applying from abroad like just fundamentally problematic in this whole process? Because I don't know. I feel like it's a year seems way too long for a very straightforward I-130 application. So I'm just wondering, like, is it just sitting on a desk somewhere? I have a lot of questions. I don't know.
What's the actual receipt date on your I-130?
Literally a year ago from today.
Oh, 1 year ago today.
Today's the anniversary.
So, yeah, happy anniversary to Perry. I would say that most cases are taking about a year at USCIS. I would say they're probably taking a little bit of extra time because you listed an overseas address. I think that just sort of throws them for a loop. Like I think like they're just looking for the US state of the petitioner. Like it's unusual.
Okay.
I can't think of many I-130s that I filed where I listed the foreign address as the U.S. citizen's address. I'd rather use mom or dad's or brother's or cousin Larry, so that we establish. Like I would have encouraged you to pick some kind of a place. I just think it helps move things along. I can't think of the last time. I could check with the team, but I can't think of the last time we filed an I-130 with a foreign address for the petitioner.
No, I guess my thinking was to be truthful, and at the time we were living there together,
yeah.
so
it's truthful. But in my mind, if I'm overseas, I always have an American address. If I'm overseas, I'm always going to have a point of contact at home.
For sure. No, but also in the process, I did provide them with a U.S. address because that's also a part of the application. Because every time I call, I provide them with the European address, and then they ask for the U.S. address, and I provide them with that. So there is one on file, but at the time that we were applying, we were living out there together. So
I gotcha.
Yeah. Okay. That's pretty much it. I really feel like my case is straightforward. So I don't know. I feel a bit frustrated at this point.
Well, I'd say give it another 6 weeks. If you're still frustrated, then call me. We can get the USCIS part done.
Yeah. Okay. I'm definitely leaning more towards what's it called? The writ of mandamus, I think it's called.
Yep. Writ of mandamus. Yep.
Mandamus. Yeah. Okay. Well, cool. Yeah, Jim, keep that energy, man. I think we need to know what time it is, so it's all good.
All right, awesome. Thanks, Perry. See you, buddy. Keep us posted, okay? Let us know.
No doubt.
Yes.
Thank you.
See ya.
Well, I want to say that if anyone wants a free consultation with Jim, we're gonna do a giveaway. So
yeah, and I'm trying to make it a little bit. I'm trying to make it a little bit better than just a free consultation because we talk to people all the time, and that doesn't sound like that great of a thing. What we're talking about now is like you can call and we just talk about whatever you want for half an hour. It's like a half hour of my time. If I could play the banjo, I'd play the banjo. But if you want me to talk about something, if you want to talk about life advice or immigration advice, whatever it is you want, I want to make it more fun than just a consult. We can talk about immigration stuff. But yeah, Romel and Julia definitely want us to mention. We're trying to get over 1,000 followers on Instagram. That's the leads or the marketing team's May goal is to get us over 1,000. So anybody, I guess you got to go to that one link that Romel Julia posted.
It's an Instagram post from my understanding. And y'all can just participate there and you get the special scoop from Jim. That's like anything you want. He can even interpret. What's the name of the play you said?
Plaza Suite.
Yes, that.
Plaza Suite. We can talk about Plaza Suite. We can talk about the Jets. Housy's always happy to talk. Housy would like it because he would just yell at me about how bad the Jets are for half an hour, and that'd be fun too.
Well, I encourage everyone to participate of that. I know that a lot of people want that. So
that'd
we
be
still
fun.
have a lot of people in the waiting room. We have Ibrahim, so I'm gonna put him on.
Hi, Ibrahim. He's on mute.
Oh, you're muted.
Okay, can you hear me now?
How
Yeah.
you doing, bud?
Okay, yeah, I'm doing good. How about you?
Great, thanks. I like your
Okay.
We're
shirt.
doing good.
Yeah, thank you for everything. So I'm a little stressed today, May 11, because I received a document on my USCIS account online. That the title of the document, it is unclassified document, and it is like they saying that my I try to put an inquiry about my wife case because it's almost 2 years, and since I become a U.S. citizen, I trying to put outside of normal processing time. So they respond me that they're gonna answer me in 45 days, and today is like 1 month, 2 days, and then I received this document saying that they the guy thinking that my married I did before was a fraud.
How do you know
That
that?
he's saying that he explained that all the documents I filed for my family, there is some picture inside that showing that why I was married to my U.S. wife. That when I goes in Ivory Coast in my country, that I was still involved with my girlfriend. And those picture, it is just the picture I took with my kid when I goes there, because I'm a musician. I will go there for some concert, and then also I will use 2 weeks to spend with my kid, so I will take some picture with them. So when I was filed for my family now, so I add those picture. So he's saying that those pictures showing that I was still involved with my other family while I was married to the U.S. wife. So now he's saying he think that it is fraud. So there is a document that he sent to me. He didn't send to me. He put on my account saying that it is a pre-decision, and how we call it, referral status approved. Like referral status, if I pronounce right, it is REFERRAL. That got studies
And so Ibrahim, is there a big long description of like your immigration history, or is it just a denial or what?
it is not a deny. It say it is a pre-decision, and then
A
there is
pre-decision or it says decision?
a pre-decision.
Pre-decision, like PRE?
Yes.
That's really weird. You better download that thing quick. They might have put that up there by mistake.
Because he's saying that married and shortly after the beneficiary.
Yeah, dude, they
procreate.
posted something they weren't supposed to. Can you get that and send it to me? I want to see it.
Yeah, I got it. I downloaded already.
Yeah, send it to me, and then let's talk off camera. I don't want to talk about your case in front of everybody.
Okay, I will send to you. I have your email.
Yep. All right. Thanks, Ibrahim.
Thank you.
See you, buddy.
That's
Hey,
weird.
that reminds me. Yeah, that's weird. That reminds me, though. You want to tell everyone about the case that you and I turned down today?
Yeah, I even sent this guy. He reached out and he's like, I want to file an I-130 because my spouse, she's a U.S. citizen, but I have my other spouse in my country. I'm like, wait, what? You have two spouses? And I'm like, unfortunately, we can't assist you. And he's like, no, but maybe there's a way that I can get my other spouse. I'm like, nah, man, like, we can't help you. Like,
Now,
the dude
listen.
was just,
I know we had to turn down that case. There's no doubt. But I've
Mhm.
often wondered whether, for instance, like if someone was a Mormon or a Muslim and wanted to make a religious argument that they should be able to sponsor two spouses or something.
Because
I've often
thought about that.
I've often
Like,
thought it's something it could be challenged. Now Amani yells at me and say, no, we're not messing around with that. But I think that if somebody had enough money and wanted to litigate that, I think it'd be very interesting to litigate it.
I mean, even, just religious wise, it's like, okay, yeah, I have multiple husbands or wives or whatever. And it's like, but how would the litigation of that work? Like all of the consequences, it'd be,
well, I think
you'd have
to file and lose. You'd have to go in knowing you're going to lose, right? Like you'd have to lose, and then you'd have to go through the administrative appeals process. And then when you're done, then you would have to appeal to a federal court and you'd have to preserve the argument. Like you'd have to say from the beginning, this is a religious issue and this is unfair. And, so anyway, I mean, it would just be it's like a law school thing, not like something you'd really want to do.
Yeah, it would be like something that people would make a documentary of.
Yeah. Yeah.
It sounds so big to me. It's like, oh, changing history.
Yeah.
So we still have some people in the waiting room that have turned on their cameras. I think we have Phil over here. Hey, Phil.
Hey guys, how are you guys doing?
Hi, Phil. How are you?
Not too bad. So I had sent Abigail an email maybe last week about my stuff stuck in administrative processing. It's like a K1 visa, but it's been filed since 2019.
It's pending at USCIS or at the embassy?
No. I had the interview already.
Yeah.
I had the interview last July 19th.
Yeah. So we stopped suing the State Department on fiance cases because they were filing motions to dismiss. So when I file a lawsuit, it sounds really big and scary, but really we're asking for a little bit of help, and we need the U.S. Attorney and the State Department to sort of be willing to process the case. But for whatever reason, they chose fiance cases and said, we're putting this at the bottom of the list and we're not going to do anything when you sue us about those. That's why we don't do those lawsuits anymore. They stopped working.
Because I asked because they had put me in AP from since July, and I asked them for an update in January, and they asked me to resubmit my DS5535. So I'm not sure they have been looking at it. I'm not sure they have even gotten the first one. So I don't know.
No, those are all just BS ways they slow things down. What embassy are you talking about?
It's in Barbados. It's Bridgetown, Barbados.
Yeah, I think they're just sitting on it. I mean, Barbados isn't one of the ones that we really think about as being sort of abusive or punitive.
Right.
I don't know. I don't know what the problem is. That seems bizarre. Have you ever applied to come to the United States before?
Yeah, I've been to the States. I've studied in the States. I've been an OPT, and I left after OPT was done. So.
Yeah, that sucks. I mean, the one thing we've been telling people, not that this is what you want to hear, is that you might want to go ahead and get married and start over.
Yeah, I thought about that, but that's going to be like another year and a half.
At least, yeah. Yeah, there's this doctrine called the doctrine of sunk cost. And I think sometimes with fiance cases, you have to ask yourself, I've put all this time and effort in getting this I-129F approved.
Right.
And it's just sitting, and maybe I need to start all over. I understand. I wouldn't want to do it either. But I think that that's something to think about.
Okay, so I have one more question. So about 2 months ago, I played varsity basketball, right? So my coach had reached out to me and asked me if I wanted to earn my master's by being a GA. So I'm like, I would love to, but I don't.
Did you say being on a what?
A graduate assistant, a GA.
Oh, GA. Okay, good. I thought you were saying a J visa. Yeah, we don't want you on a J visa.
Yeah, a GA. So I was like, I don't know, man, because I'm interested, but I don't know how it would go with this administrative process and stuff. So I don't know if it would be a good idea to what's the word, to withdraw the K1.
No, I would leave the K1. I would leave the K1, and I would try to get an I-20 from the school to come be a GA, and then try to get an F1.
So do you think they would give me problems because I already had immigrant intent?
They might, but it also might nudge them to decide the damn fiance case. Like you'd have a faster ticket inside the embassy to talk to a live human being with an F1. I mean, worst case scenario, they just deny the F1. Obviously, you're not going to hide the fact that you have that K1 on file for you,
right?
But I think as long as you're completely transparent and honest, I think it's a nice way to knock on the door. Hey, don't forget about me, Phil. I'm over here.
I just don't want to make it seem like I'm just trying to get back at all costs, you know.
I understand, but I mean, dude, you've been pretty patient, right?
Yeah. So you suggest I should just take a chance with the F1 and see?
I would.
Okay. All right then. Thank you.
I think I heard a chicken. Was that a chicken I heard?
Yes, it was.
There it is. Aren't chickens in the morning? What time is it in Barbados?
No, I'm in Antigua, but the embassy is in Barbados.
Antigua. I gotcha. So it's like, is it morning in Antigua? No.
No, we have the same time zone as New York, so it's
5. It's a nighttime rooster.
Yeah.
He's got his hours mixed up.
Phil, keep us posted. Let us know how it goes, okay?
All right, no problem. Thank you.
Thank you, Phil.
See you, buddy. Boy, I don't think we've ever had a rooster on the show before. We've had some devil cats.
So
we've had some devil cats. And maybe
I thought I heard it. I was like, wait, is that?
Yeah.
And I do remember speaking to him. I felt so bad that his case was pending for so long, but yeah, so pineapple. Yep. That's comments.
That's how a rooster sounds in Jamaica. Oh, we're having fun today. Let's talk to Kay. Kay's been waiting for a while. Hi, Kay.
Hey, Kay.
Hi, Jim. Hi, Abigail. How are you?
Great. How are you doing?
Good.
I'm doing well. Sorry, I'm just going to the room. Yeah, thank you for taking my call.
Sure. What can we help you with?
Yeah, a couple of questions. So I first came to the U.S. In 2008 on a J1 visa. It's subject to the 212E rule. Now, after the J1 visa, I came back to the U.S. multiple times on an F1 visa, and I completed about 1 year and 9 months out of the 2 years. Now, ever since then, I've also became a Canadian citizen, and I've spent time outside the U.S. Now, that means I have about 3 months remaining on my 2-year residency requirement. Let's say if I want to apply for an adjustment of status, would that be a big obstacle in me getting the adjustment of status approved?
Yeah, it's as if you did no time at all. So I would strongly suggest to go do the three months, get that done, and then you have that behind you forever.
Now, the second question is the fact that I became Canadian citizen since I got the J1 visa and I spent time in Canada, would that be counted towards my 2 years? I'm originally Palestinian, so that's...
Yeah, I can check, but I'm pretty sure you have to do it in your home country.
My home country, okay.
That's something I should know. That's something I should know, but I'm pretty sure.
Okay, and then the third question is, what kind of evidence do they require? Let's say if I do an adjustment of status, what kind of evidence should I present? Let's say if I finish the 2 years, what kind of evidence should I gather?
It's your burden to prove it. You got to. I mean, they can even be like counting days. So it's you got to show. You got to show, the airline tickets, show any evidence you have of a life there. You need to prove that up for sure.
Okay, sounds good. And then the final question is, let's say it's not possible to submit an adjustment of status and then go back and finish 3 months and then come back because I've already demonstrated intent to immigrate, or?
So Andrew and I were talking about this the other day. It's risky to do it after. It's much better to do it before.
Okay.
I'm certainly not going to tell you on this show to do it after. Whether I would research it and tell you that later, maybe. But I think at the end of the day, the magic word you said was I'm Palestinian, right? So I don't want to do anything to make things complicated. I just want you to do it and get it done.
Sounds good. Yeah, it sounds like that's my only option. The other option was to get a waiver, but we don't have an embassy in DC, so that'll be
you don't have a waiver, and you're so darn close. It's time for a little vacation.
Yeah, I haven't been home in 8 years, so maybe I'm due. Well, thank you so much for your help.
They miss you. Yeah. They miss you.
Yeah.
Yep. Bye, Kay.
Yeah.
Good luck, buddy.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Kay.
Yeah, everyone likes Kay. Everyone liked Kay. They liked that Kay got fast to the point. Everyone liked that Kay. They
When
thought he was.
confused with. Yeah, they thought it was Daniel.
Yeah, yeah. There was a comment up above that I saw from Hiram. You've always said that previous forms I may have filed with the consular officer might pop up during my green card interview. The answer to that question is yes. You should assume. Everyone should always assume that anything that. Whoa! Jeez. Oh my god! Sorry, that's Nor calling. Anyway, that was Dave Matthews, by the way, and Dave Matthews' tour starts today in Austin, Texas. But anyway, everyone should always assume that if they said something to the federal government, either at the State Department in a non-immigrant visa application or an immigrant visa application or to USCIS, they have to assume that that's going to be presented to them at their interview. So don't ever think that you might just slide by, because those are the exact kind of things that they actually find and bring up. So
yeah, they even have everything. I had a lead recently who mentioned that they brought up things over 20 years ago during his interview, and it was just awful. He felt completely like, what?
Or like,
yeah, and his attorney didn't prepare him for that, so he was especially freaked out in that moment.
Yeah.
Oh, dude.
Well, sometimes people don't tell the attorney everything, and we were just talking. All of us on leads were talking the other day. You were saying about how sometimes people don't tell you guys stuff initially, and then they tell the lawyer later. So a lot of times we've had stuff come up, or we find things up right at the meeting where we're prepping them for their interview. So it's always a good idea to tell your attorneys everything so that they make the right decision for you. Like one time, Amani, we had someone tell us that they had done something illegal, right? And so that was something like, we're like, well, you might not want to apply. So you gotta. It's just like going to the doctor. If you're trying to hide the fact that your arm hurts, they might be preventing you from having a heart attack. But if you don't tell them, there's nothing they can really do.
Yeah, and it's just we try to inspire trust and for people to be able to tell us things, because essentially it's for their own good. But yeah, I'm not sure, but poor dude.
Yeah, it's that old expression that I really like: help us help you, right? Like help us help you. Make sure to tell us the right stuff, and then go from there. I don't see that we have anybody's face up in the waiting room. I wouldn't be against cutting it a little bit short. My son Yusuf is back from school. I think Amani's drive. Oh, we got someone there right there. Let's go ahead.
We have a. Hey. Oh, you're muted.
Hi. You're on mute.
Yes. Hi guys, can you guys hear me?
How are you doing?
Yeah, go ahead.
Good. Do you guys necessarily need my face?
No, we don't have to see your face. We just need to hear your voice.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
Go ahead.
Oh, we can't hear you.
That was interesting.
Have we lost her?
I think so.
Can you guys hear me now?
Now
we got you. Go ahead.
Yes? Okay, perfect. Sorry. So I came on a G1 visa in December, and I get married like 96 days or 100 days after I arrived, which is still after the 90-day rule, but kind of still like and then after that my G1 wasn't going good at all, so I asked my sponsor, can I terminate my G1? Then they asked me to leave the territory, and
go ahead.
Whoop, we lost her again.
Yeah. It sounded like she was switching.
Intrigued.
Yeah.
And
I think I know the question, but I want to make sure that I hear it. But whenever you come on a J1 and get married, or on any non-immigrant visa and get married within those first 100 days, then the question becomes, did you know the spouse before you came to the United States? And that's sort of a damned if you do, damned if you don't. Because if you were planning to come and get married and you use the non-immigrant visa to come, that's a problem, right? And then if you didn't know them, then you married someone 96 days after you arrived in the United States, that's its own problem. So both of those are problematic. but once you and she started to say that the J1 didn't go well. So this is a scenario. Are you there?
I think she's back.
I don't hear nobody.
You can't hear us?
Yes.
Oh, okay. All right, I'll just go ahead and finish explaining what I wanted to explain. Maybe she can catch the recording. But this scenario of I came on a non-immigrant visa, I got married relatively quickly, even though it's beyond the 90 days. And then I said the non-immigrant visa stuff didn't really work out. They've seen that movie before. We've heard it in our office many, many times. If we've heard it many, many times, that means they've heard it many, many times. So you got to be really worried about that. You got to be worried about it. Pineapple wants to know if we've ever had anyone approved getting married less than 90 days. Yeah, for us, we usually operate on the 60 days. So we've had plenty of cases where people get married between 60 and 90 days, no problem. But earlier than 60 days, we've actually gotten those approved too. But those are problematic, and you're sort of setting yourself up for a couple of problems. All right, we've got about 3 minutes. I'm going to go to Joe T real quick and see if we can get him in before the end of the show. What's up, Joe?
Hey,
Hi,
Joe.
Jim. A quick question. I just got married in March 16th of 2022. My wife, Philippines. Thank you. And we filed the I-130, and we got it filed before I left the Philippines. The end of the month, and we were waiting for her name change to come back, and it came back already. They said it could take up to 8 months, and we didn't want to wait before we filed the I-130. So my question is, do we update her name to my name? Do we need to send a letter to the USCIS, or do we wait till we get to NVC, or do we not change her name on her passport?
I'm a big proponent of not messing with people's names until they become a citizen. I'm a big proponent of letting everybody keep their name all the way through until they get their citizenship. Because if your passport doesn't match your I-130, doesn't match your DS-260, then doesn't match your 751, that all causes problems. So if I get a say in things, I would say don't change anything, especially if you've already filed the I-130, until it gets approved.
Okay, that's kind of what I thought, but she's got to change she's a teacher, so she's got to change her teacher's license and all that stuff before she leaves. But I told her to hold off on the...
Well, she's going to be, I mean, Joe, I hate to break it to you. I don't know if you've been following the timelines, but it's going to be like 2 years before she comes to the United States.
Yeah, we're at the Texas Service Center. We got a confirmation number right about 3 days after we filed. And I guess
I know, but I'm just saying USCIS will probably go along fine. That'll probably be 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 months. The problem is the embassy in Manila is the worst, the slowest. I don't know if they're the worst, but they're the slowest.
Gotcha. Okay, thanks you for the information. I appreciate it.
Good luck, Joe. See you, buddy.
Thank you.
Bye.
All right. Well, that was fun having you on, Abby. Always good to have you here. I had fun with Daniel yesterday. Fun with you as well. I appreciate it. It makes everything go a whole lot faster and a whole lot more smoothly. And I hope your package came correctly.
It did. I have it.
All right. Have a great night. I'll see you tomorrow.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, Abby. Thanks. I'll be back tomorrow at
1
o'clock. 1 o'clock tomorrow's Thursday. So 1 o'clock. Bye, everybody.
Cool.